So welcome back to the school year, the 2021-2022 school year and Convocation Assembly. It's fantastic to see all of you in this room, and for the first time in my career at Convocation, I'm going to say, don't move up. That's fine where you are. Before we get going, I do want to give a quick shout out to Lori Paul and all the food service workers. Not only did they put it all together with grab and go, but they have the green theme for Timmy Strong. So, fantastic job. Quick introduction of our guests and speakers. First, we have Mrs. Sarah Trulio, Chair of the School Committee. Mr. Bill Fonseca, unfortunately, could not be with us. He's the Vice Chair of the School Committee. We have Mr. Greg Thompson, School Committee member. And unfortunately, Mrs. Marjan Boucher and Ms. Antonella Rashilla could not be with us this morning, but I know they're with us in spirit. We have Mr. Ela Gonzalez, Ela President. And in a little bit, we'll hear from Mr. Abel Lee, ELHS Social Studies teacher. Here to welcome you this morning is Sarah Trulio, Chair of the School Committee.
Thank you, Mr. Smith, and good morning. It is an honor and a privilege to be here with you all today, and welcome to the 2021-2022 academic year. I want to take a moment to thank Mr. Smith for ensuring that we could start the year off together. After being apart for so long, it certainly feels good to start the year off with this wonderful tradition. I was reflecting on the last convocation that we all experienced together, and how at that point, a pandemic, masks, remote learning, asynchronous versus synchronous instruction, and vaccines were nowhere on the horizon. In a lot of ways, we could say it was truly a simpler time. I thought back to the speech that Mr. Thompson delivered at our last convocation. His words stuck with me because he was able to convey a complex message in a straightforward way. He spoke to us all about the quest for good. If you recall, he spoke about the power in that one small word, and how ultimately so many of us are thrilled to hear that our kids had a good day. In that message, he asked each of us to take the lead on ensuring that our students had good days and ultimately a good year. It was the right message at the right time. Yet here we all are in a very different time, and I struggled truly to think about what the right message was. As I sat down to begin writing, I was reminded of a saying that I used to teach my third grade students. We would say this chant as we lined up to travel the building, as they concluded an assignment, or at any point in the day when I or we thought we needed a boost. It resonated with me because I could see connections between where Greg left us off and where we are now picking up some 24 months later. It goes like this: good, better, best, never let it rest. If it's good, make it better. If it's better, make it best. A simple chant with deep meaning. The meaning behind that saying is my central message to you all today. We need to be our best this year more than ever. Our schools are open, our students are back, and the work we are asked to do is great. Our best is needed by our students, our colleagues, our families, and above all, we need to treat ourselves in the best ways, or we won't be able to accomplish all that is needed. Now, for some, this would be a tall order, but not for ELPS. I know as the chair of the school committee, a mother of 2, an aunt to 5, and a member of this community that I can count on you, that my kids can count on you, that the students, staff, families, and community can count on you, and that ultimately, as a district, we can count on each other. We are all so eager to get back to school as we know it, and who could blame us after last year? A sense of routine and predictability is certainly warranted. However, what if we came back to this year with the same best that led our district through a pandemic? What if we pushed ourselves to reimagine what is possible in a brick and mortar setting so that all students left having not just a good day, but their best day? The beginning of the year is always filled with hope, optimism, and excitement for what is to come. As you launch this year, I implore you all to act on what the saying says, to never let it rest. As we move forward from a year like no other, let's strive to set the mark at best. Let's ensure that we support each other and push each other to move from good to better and from better to best. And I promise that if we do that, we'll have a year like no other, but on our terms and in the greatest of ways. I wish you all the best year yet, and thank you for all that you have done and will do for our students. Happy New Year.
Thank you, Mrs. Trulio. And now we'll hear from the ELA President, Mr. Gonzalez.
Thank you, Gordon. I sincerely hope you had a great summer, and welcome back. I like the 15-year-old me much better than the current one, but anyway, thank you for finding that picture. Last time we were here, it was about 2 years ago, and I can't help it but reflect on everything that's occurred in our lives. The one thing that stands out above all is that when it matters most, the open lines of communication between the East Long Meadow Schools Administration, the school committee, and the ELEA remain wide open. In tough times, all parties were faithful to the mission, stayed connected, stuck to the best level of process in a very tough environment, and worked jointly on anything that was within our control. That was in spite of the magnitude of the unknown situation, daily uncertainty, public scrutiny, fear, criticism, and lots of skepticism. I want to sincerely thank each and every one of you for your patience and understanding during the past year and a half. And I want to encourage you not to lose that spirit, because we may still need a little bit of it to get through this year, as our mission is clear: to reconnect with our students. The value of what educators do has always been in the forefront of our society, but especially now. I want to thank you for teaching in a community like East Long Meadow that values education. Whether this is your first or your 25th year, we're lucky to have each and every one of you. Talk is cheap, and I've always let my actions speak for themselves, and this year will be no different. If you need any assistance from the ELEA, I'm a very easy find and will help you as best I can. I will end now by wishing you all the very best, both personally and professionally. Have a great day and the best school year. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Gonzalez. Before we welcome new staff, I do want to just take a moment to recognize someone that we all know this morning is unable to be with us. Tim Allen, principal of Birchland Park Middle School. And we can see by the sea of green, he's here. He's never going to be far from us, never far from our thoughts, never far from our hearts. And I know that we're going to see him soon. So keep the prayers, keep the positive thoughts coming, and we will be welcoming back Tim Allen soon. So keep him in your minds, keep him in your hearts. With that, I would like to, because I'm capturing the spirit of Dr. Allen and Mr. Martin here in the picture, I would like to welcome our new staff, because we have some fantastic new people joining the ELPS community, and they're going to make us stronger and better. So leading us off, someone who's starting a new position herself, Miss Renee Lodi, the principal of Meadowbrook School.
Good morning, everyone. Many of our new staff, unfortunately, haven't finished their hiring paperwork, so may not be here yet. But if you are here, please stand. I'd like to first welcome Lauren Shea, coming to us from within ELPS as our new assistant principal at Meadowbrook School. New teachers at Meadowbrook this year include Tracy Merrick in 2nd grade, Shannon Forbes, 2nd grade, and Adrian Levesque in kindergarten. New paraprofessionals at Meadowbrook this year include Sarah Belisle, Joseph Russo, Ashley Font, Melanie Zapata. We would also like to welcome Charles Kuzina as a custodian, Denise Massey, Ashley Colon, and Heidi Kinney as new lunch and recess monitors. Before handing the microphone over, I would just like to add one small thing. Over the past year, I've watched you all pull together to support your students and to support each other at a level far beyond what I've ever seen in the past, here or in any other district. Staff came in early and stayed late, delivered materials to students' homes on the weekend, organized drive-by parades to keep social connecting alive, even if from a distancing. Secretaries supervised lunch and recess without being asked, and those are just but a few examples. Everyone pulled together to keep things running in service of our students. Thinking over the past year, it makes me incredibly proud to be part of the ELPS family. And make no mistake, I use that word with intention, because that is what our community now feels like to me, a family. If we carry anything forward with us out of last year, I hope it is that same willingness to step up, pitch in, and have each other's backs. With that mentality, we can truly accomplish anything. I would not want to be doing this work alongside any other group of people. We rose to the challenge last year, and I have no doubt we will do it again this year. To those of you being introduced today as new ELPS staff members, you are joining a remarkably hardworking, caring community that knows how to pull together during difficult times. Welcome to East Long Meadow, and have a great year.
Thank you, Mrs. Lodi. Actually, would you be able to write some of my speeches? Keeping our introductions going, we're going to turn to Mountain View and Mrs. Elaine Santinella, principal of the Mountain View Elementary School.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome back. We have a lot of new staff members at Mountain View, and we're very excited to welcome them to our family. First, I'd like to start with Sean Calhoun, who's our new enrichment teacher. Nick Hutchinson, our new adjustment counselor. Christine Lohan, our art teacher. Logan Quinn, 4th grade. And we have 4 new paras. Melanie Costa, Jessica Donay, Samantha Kelly, and Shelby Marin. I hope you all have a wonderful year. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Santinella. Now we'll move to Maple Shade and Mr. Fredette, principal of Maple Shade Elementary.
Good morning, everybody, and of course we're all excited to be here as well, and I want to welcome Amanda Murray, 3rd grade. Hannah Ovcharski, 4th grade. Elizabeth Mitchell, special education. Brooke Gumlaw, school adjustment counselor. Christine Lohan, also Maple Shade art teacher. And we have paraprofessionals, Danielle Barecki, Carrie Coppy, and Tina Cohn. Thank you very much, everyone. Have a wonderful morning.
Thank you, Mr. Fredette. And moving to the secondary level in Birchland Park Middle School, Mr. Martin.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Thank you. All right. Good morning, East Long Meadow Public Schools. Today, we would like to welcome to the Burchin family the following fine individuals. Kathy Pasolato as our new Jade paraprofessional. Jennifer Classic, who is our new Learning Center paraprofessional. Crystal Cairns as our new Amethyst paraprofessional. Amanda Ledger, who is our new Life Skills paraprofessional. We want to welcome Jane Bolin-Forty, who is coming to us from another building. Welcome, Jane. Hello, Jane. Over the summer, we were joined by Ernest Harlow as one of our custodians. The following two members of the Burchin family have stepped into new roles as teachers, so please, for our new ASD teacher, welcome John Bianchi. And please welcome Michelle Lamb for our 7th grade math. And then, with everything that happened over the summer, I had some big asks to ask some members of our staff, and I'm very grateful that they all said yes. So thank you, Miranda Kavanaugh, for stepping into our role as literacy coach. Thank you, Matt Doherty, for stepping into our role as 7th grade ELA teacher. And thank you to the new acting assistant principal of Birchland Park Middle School, Mr. Steve Pearson. Thank you, Steve. Now, while I have everyone, I'm not going to take up too much of your time, but I just wanted to acknowledge the sea of green that I see before me, and even if you are not wearing green right now, that is okay, because I know that the flood of support that has come out from East Long Meadow towards Tim and his family was very, very powerful, and it has been recognized by the family. On behalf of the Allens and Tim himself, I just wanted to say thank you. Now, if Tim was here, if Tim happened to come in to the cafeteria right now, I know that he would be met with a rousing standing ovation, the likes of which that we have not seen before. So, if Tim cannot be here for that standing ovation, I would love to bring that standing ovation to Tim in the hopes that it helps him get that much better, that much sooner, and he sees how much he is cared by the staff of East Long Meadow Public Schools. Because one thing about Tim is that he is not just proud to be the principal of Birchland Park Middle School, he is proud to be a member of the East Long Meadow Public Schools. So please, for anyone that has asked, hold on, not ready yet. For anyone that has asked how to help Tim and his family, this is how we're going to do it. I'm going to get up here, I'm going to shout, "Timmy Strong!" And when I say Timmy Strong, let's give him that standing ovation. Timmy Strong! Thank you, everybody. Have fun following that, Frank.
Oh my God. Frank, can we send them back to their schools now? We good? Okay, so I would like to welcome 6 new staff members to Spartan Nation. I'm going to start with Miss Mindy Ballou, guidance counselor. Our new ASD teacher, Miss Emily Roche. New ASD paraprofessional, Miss Kelsey Allen. Chemistry teacher, Miss Anissa Tersch. Engineering teacher, Mr. Tom Walsh. And last but not least, Principal Secretary, Miss Kayla Ochoa.
Thank you, Mr. Page. And rounding us out, Dr. Welsh is going to introduce a new member of her staff in Student Support Services.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. It's wonderful to be here. It's wonderful to see all of you. I had the pleasure of chatting with some of you as you came through the office this summer. I'm always struck when I hear the nice list of names of all the new staff. When I was hired in 1977, I was the only new staff. There was one person, and it was me. So that was a little unsettling, but it's really, really nice. That said, we still need more staff. I'm sure you know that in all of the schools, we need some paraprofessionals and some other things. So if you've got friends who want to come to a wonderful place, please, please send them our way, and we'll make it work for them. So we have a new administrative assistant in student services, and I'm very happy to welcome Jessica True to work with me and Samantha. I hope everybody has a wonderful year.
Thank you, Dr. Welsh. And we are actively recruiting, so that was not said in jest. We have positions that are still open, so we'll be working hard this week to fill those. If you do have anyone who's out there who's interested, please let us know. We have one more round of applause for all our new staff. We're really excited to work with all of you, and I know that you're just going to continue to enrich the ELPS community. So turning to this new school year, and I know that's a lot. You don't have to read all of that that's on there. I'll try to cover it in my quick remarks here. But I'm so excited that we are able to, after 17 months since we've been able to welcome all of our students and all of our staff back into our buildings. And if we pause just for a moment to think over all that has happened during those 17 months, all that ELPS achieved and all that we endured, it really does help build the excitement for tomorrow when we welcome back students. We could possibly steal a phrase from the singer-songwriter Steve Miller and say, you have to go through hell to get to heaven. I'm not sure if our return together tomorrow can be described as heaven, but I know there's no place would rather be than here with all of you in the ELPS community. So please give yourselves a round of applause. As we welcome back our students tomorrow, all that we have learned over the last 17 months will be needed to ensure that we are focusing on reconnecting and building strong, informed, and understanding relationships with our students. Slow down tomorrow. Take a deep breath. Focus on this: relationship before content. Relationship before content. Only with strong, informed, understanding relationships are we able to place our students, all of our students, in the best possible situations to engage and excel. And the social emotional education and support has to be connected to the academic support and growth. We have to always keep the two connected and in mind at all times. As we keep this consistent focus on how to best support our students, we also have to maintain, and this is what the slide is getting at, a focus on our own physical, emotional, and mental health. Every day, we should take a self-inventory to be sure that each of us are where we need to be. We have to acknowledge that even in the best of times, our work as educators is challenging. And it puts strain on us all, physically, emotionally, and mentally. Over the last 17 months, this has only increased exponentially. Your collective dedication, skill, and effort carried us all through that time. I want to thank all of you for that, because it was incredible to see. Please give yourselves another round of applause. When we say that our focus needs to be on all in the ELPS community, we know that this includes our students and families. But we always need to remember that it also includes our colleagues and ourselves. Always remember to take the time for your health and yourself. Keep supporting each other. There is no group who does this better than the ELPS community. Thank you for all that you do every day. I'm gonna run it. Now it's my honor to introduce one of your colleagues, a former ELPS student who graduated with the ELHS class of 2006, Mr. Abel Lee. Abel is going to provide us with some additional thoughts to help us kick off this new school year. Abel?
Thank you, Gordon. So I just wanted to start off by thanking Gordon for having me come up here and speak. Can you guys all hear me? Very good, okay. So usually I'm actually all the way in the back, so this is a little awkward for me, but I'll do my best. I'll try to keep it short. Gordon, and I want to thank all of you actually for listening to this. Gordon wanted me to speak and kind of tell you my story going through East Long Meadow High School. So just to start, was it? Oh, I'm sorry, East Long Meadow Public Schools. Just to start, I do remember when this school was built. I was actually going into 7th grade. And I'll just start with a little story, I guess. When the school was built, Jane Swift, who was the governor of Massachusetts at the time, actually came and we did like a little chorus thing for her. I was in chorus at the time. I'm not really a good singer, but I just did because my friends were in it. But I remember, and some of the teachers here who I had actually might remember this too. Me and my friend actually started laughing in the middle of the performance, and we fell off the stage. So I remember the chorus teacher, Ms. Nimitz at the time, she would have a very deafening voice, and she just berated us as soon as we got back to class. So that was one of the fond memories I have back here. When I was in 8th grade, towards the end of the year, I actually tried to start a food fight because someone dared me to do it, and I actually got suspended for that. So again, the reason why I'm telling you this now is, again, I wasn't in the military. I wasn't, I didn't start my own business. I didn't work in the big city cooking for a bunch of people. I'm just like you guys. So I was really honored when Gordon asked me to come up here and kind of tell you my story. So I do appreciate it. So just to get started, like Gordon mentioned, my family actually emigrated here in the 1970s from Taiwan. So my parents, if you've seen the show Straight Off the Boat, that's basically my family. I had a brother, 2 parents, opened up a Chinese restaurant. Actually, if you look at the picture, that's Panda South. You guys probably know it now as Tao's. That's where we used to have our restaurant. So my parents immigrated here from New York. They came here looking for a better life for me and my brother, and it's one of the things that I always appreciate about my parents. They worked basically 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. And they really grinded just to give us a good life. So that's one of the things I always kind of come back to is my parents. They're the ones who kind of made me who I am today, and I'm very grateful for that. Now, coming up in East Long Meadow school system, one of the interesting things was I was actually a bilingual student. So I was actually taught Mandarin Chinese first. So when I came to East Long Meadow, it was really awkward. Not just because I didn't speak the language, but also because obviously I look different than everyone. And the demographics have changed quite a bit since I've been in school, but I do believe that that actually made me a stronger person. Now, I do think, I think we all agree this, kids can be cruel sometimes, right? Kids can be mean, and not just kids, but sometimes adults. So going through the school system, I did deal with, some discriminatory remarks. Kids ask me things like, oh, can you cook, Chinese food? Can you, do you know karate? Things like that. But they're kids. So dealing with that, learning the language, being pulled out of class through all the ELL programs and stuff like that, it was tough. But one of the things I do remember, it was in Maple Shade, there was I think she was principal, but Mrs. Davis. She was tremendously tough, but she was extremely fair, and she was a great lady, and she would always be the one to help me out. Miss Bernash, who was my 5th grade teacher, she was another person who was extremely supportive with everything that I was going through. And those are the type of people that I remember. Now, when I got to middle school, obviously that's that awkward age for kids. You don't really know what's going on, right? You're trying to figure yourselves out. So I went through a few different friend groups. But there was another person in middle school who actually helped me out tremendously. He's actually still teaching now. It's actually Mr. Long, right? Derek Long. So he was actually my 6th and 8th grade teacher. And he actually said something to me that I still take with me today. He basically said, why are you friends with a particular group of people? He said, they're not good people. They don't treat you right. They don't treat you with respect. And that's something that's always resonated with me. And I know he probably doesn't really even remember that conversation, but I do. And that's kind of one of the things I really want to hit home to you guys is, again, I'm just like you guys. I teach, we're in it to help the kids. What you do, you don't really realize it until later. And for me, fortunately for me, I've had a lot of teachers that actually helped me, going through the ELL system, going through, being different, being, being a first generation, Chinese American, right? It was actually really helpful to have people like Mr. Long help me. So I always do appreciate that, wherever he is. So now, when I got to high school, that was when things got a little difficult. And I don't know if Gordon remembers this, but my brother passed away when I was in 9th grade from cancer. And I remember having to call the school because I'm the interpreter for basically my whole family. So even now, I have a nephew in 7th grade. So if he does something stupid, I'm probably going to call the middle school. So that's going to be me. So when my brother passed away, I called Gordon, actually. He was the vice principal at the time. And I do remember the amount of support that he gave me and my family. And those are the things that, we remember. But it's not just the staff here that was great. It's the community. So during that time period, I played football, I was doing basketball, things like that. I was on the track team for a year. But I do remember the support I got from my teammates. And it wasn't like that, prior to my brother passing. And I just remember the camaraderie and just kind of the community feeling that I got when I came back. And it is something that I'll always remember. And that's actually something right now, because I'm coaching right now at the high school for football. That's actually something that we're trying to instill in the kids now. And that's why these things are so important. Even though they may seem trivial at the time, they are really important. Because these are things I'll always remember. At the high school, I remember playing basketball with Mr. Polk, right? I remember Coach Morrissey reading my senior letter, or my senior essay before I sent it to college. And again, I know they're just doing their job at the time, but these are things that I still remember and I still take with me today. So when Gordon asked me to speak and kind of explain why I came back here, that's really one of the big reasons why I came back here. It really wasn't the lessons I learned in the classroom. It was the lessons that I got from the people here. It was the kindness that I got from the people here. And I think that's a very important thing. Because I think we can all agree last year sucked. I mean, that was kind of the consensus from everyone earlier. So this year, I'm sure all of you are very excited, as am I, to get the kids back in front of us and to kind of really push through and actually, get back to normal a little bit. So my experience through East Long Meadow, I did put some stuff up here, so I might as well go through it. After I graduated from East Long Meadow in 2006, I actually did my grad school and my undergrad at UMass. Right after UMass, I got a job at New Leadership Charter School, which again, it shut down. It was actually in Springfield, but it shut down because of a lot of different issues, but that's a different story. But New Leadership was a great atmosphere. Again, it was another school where I basically said, I'm gonna stay here for the rest of my career, because it had that community feel to it. And that's what was really important about teaching there. And the kids even loved it. When the school shut down, I remember we went to Bridgewater, and we actually protested in front of the Commissioner of Destiny. And we said, this isn't right. You can't shut the school down. These kids need the school here. And that was one of the things that I really started to realize. If a school is going to be successful, it has to have a community, right? Without a community, it really doesn't work. And I'm looking around, I see all the green. It shows that there is a community here. So I do believe that things are going in the right direction, After New Leadership shut down, I went to a school in Lakeville, Mass, called Apponequet Regional High School. I had a great 4 years there. It was very difficult for me to leave when I actually got offered the job here. But again, it was another school, though, that had this community feel to it. They had a ton of graduates coming back and wanting to work in the district, to give back to their community that they grew up in. And that's kind of the reasons I came back. That was ultimately one of the deciding factors. I said, I want to give back to the community that helped me so much. So that was a really big thing for me, is to try to come and provide the kids and the students in this community what the community gave me. So, as I said, I'm teaching at the high school now. I'm on the football staff, a couple other guys here. I know Coach Morrissey, Coach Bianchi was back there too. Right now, we're in our preseason, we're doing all that stuff. And like I said, one of the big things that we're really focused on is building this community. Now, I know I said it a bunch of times, but it really is an important thing. Because one of the things that I've learned in my 11 years of teaching so far is real simple. Kids can tell if you're full of it right away. And if you're not really into it, they're not going to be into it. And I think that's one of the important things. And buying into a community shows that you'll be into it. I know you're probably wondering why there's a picture of 2 dogs there. So I figured you can't really boo dogs. So that's my dog on the right. His name is Appa. This is my buddy's dog, Kaiser. So I figured I'll end you guys with that remark. And then have a good school year, guys. I'm sure I'll see you all around.
Thank you, Abel. Really well said. And you definitely cannot boo dogs. You cannot. So with that, I'm just going to say that together as a community, we will do what it takes to give everyone the support they need. Have a great school year.